Howdy folks, this is Tall Turtle here, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and we are going to fly another Jack of all planes, which means 300 miles in the extra 330 Lima Tango. And I don't think there's autopilot in this, at least there isn't natively. I'm going to try to force it with the keyboard commands, but I doubt it, which means we have to fly 300 miles by hand in this super touchy-feely aircraft. And I made it interesting by putting us in the mountains. And of course there's the AI co-pilot, which we will try this time, but it hasn't been working well that way, so I don't expect AI co-pilot to work. But otherwise, 300 miles on this thing to work towards the achievement. I don't know why my engine turned off. It was up and running when I loaded the sim, but anyway, I made it interesting with the mountains. Wow, lots of mountains. I will tell you where we're going once we get this thing started back up. I guess I've flown this before because I've flown every aircraft. I just don't remember. I don't remember flying it. So we'll have to see how this goes here. Is it going to stay running for me this time? Because it wouldn't stay running for some reason on its own. No, it's running. Alright. Mixture. Oh, high elevation probably? No, we're not that high elevation. Although bringing mixture back does help. Look at that. Whoa, is my mixture reversed? No. Weird. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's look at the GPS. Oh, it doesn't tell us where we are. Well, we're at Tulelake. T-U-L-E Lake. Tulelake. And we're going to Pullman. Yeah, I got stories about Pullman, so we're going to have a little bit of story time. Of course, once we're in the air. And I'm trying to speak quietly because people are asleep here super duper late at night, so I don't want to interrupt their sleep. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up as though we're going to use autopilot. We're going to try. I don't think autopilot works even with keyboard commands, but we're going to try, and then we're going to get started. So how do I do my altitude? You do altitude, and then that means this will do altitude. Alright, we're going to fly at 7,500 feet today. And let's get that all the way up. There it is. And we're going to set heading bug. It's not going to work that way. I guess I have to do it like this. There we go. And we're going to switch this to FMS. That's why it's purple. And we can turn that off. Okay. Barometer 2902 because we have weather turned off so we don't get clouds. I don't want to find the clouds on this thing. This is VFR only, so let's see what else can we do with this thing. So we got that set, we got the course set, so I'm going to try to use heading or autopilot for that. I have it set up as Shift Alt A. I'm going to try to use autopilot for this. I have that as Shift Alt N. If that doesn't work, I'll try Shift Alt. What do I do for that one? H. We're gonna see. I doubt it's gonna work, but we're gonna try. Anything else we can mess with? I don't think so. I think that's all we can do. Let's zoom that out. And whoa, what's this thing do? Okay, so we're just going straight to Pullman. That's it. Quite simple. I have to get re-familiar with this aircraft. I don't remember too much about it. Let's turn the landing lights on. Nav light, strobe light on. Those don't do anything. There's your engine information. We do have a GPS down here apparently. Okay. Oh, there it tells us where we're starting from. And we have a timer. So let's start the timer. And I don't think there are flaps. Let's listen for flaps. No, I don't think there's flaps in aircraft like this. Alrighty, so that's it. Here we go. Let's take off already, right? You all know what Jack of all planes is about. You all know why I'm starting at the end of the runway. You all know why I'm being quiet. So let's just take the parking brake off. Hold the regular brakes though, so we can torque it up. And let's go. And the super touchy-feely rudder pedals. Again, I was listening to some other people talk about these little aircraft with rudder pedals, and they're so dang sensitive between the trees. Wow, we made it. Somehow we made it through those trees. Okay, that was a miracle and a half. because we have hit a tree before and we bounced and crashed. So I don't think you're supposed to hit trees. Wow, this thing's crazy. So service ceiling is 10,000 feet, although online on the real life aircraft was published as 15,995 feet, but in the sim it's 10,000. And they have the nav set, or the nav log set to 7,500, so that the AI pilot can try, I guess. So anyway, here we go. We're going to fly for a minute together and get some altitude here, and then we're going to go loose the sightseeing. Let's see. There we go. Bring back mixture. Does it have our prop control? It does have prop control. Alright. Have to figure all this out once we get steady here. Let's go straight up to 7,500 feet, because I want to fly inverted too. I thought that'd be fun, right? Except I don't know how, so let's not crash. Let's not crash and break the airplane. But if I'm going to do any screwing around, we have to do it now before we get 289 miles into this thing and then crash. Alrighty, so does this have autopilot as we climb? Do we have enough space if we go 7,500? We might have to go higher. We might have to go, let's go back, altitude, might have to go like 9,000 on this one. So let's do that. Whoops, wrong way. The shaking thing really makes it hard to do it. Come on, quit shaking on me. It's like, there you go, 9,000. Alright, so, yeah, let's not hit that mountain. So what if we do this? What if we force autopilot on by going Alt to Z and then Shift Alt N? Oops, I hit the wrong button because I don't have that many hands. Shift Alt N. Does it do anything? Oh, Shift Alt altitude. Now is it flying that, or is it just not trimmed? It's just not trimmed. Okay, so autopilot's not working even when I force it with keyboard commands. I didn't expect it to, but it's always worth a shot. Because the X-Cub, I think it's X-Cub, you can force autopilot with keyboard commands. So we just have to hand fly this thing for, it says 2 hours at max speed, but it always takes me longer. So I'm expecting it to take 3. I'm going to turn you loose to sightseeing in a minute here after we're done screwing around. It's like 11:30 a.m. in the sim, I think. Alright. Shoot, I was secretly hoping that autopilot would work. We're going to get closer altitude here. And then stay on track. And then we're going to give the AI co-pilot a chance. As long as they don't crash us into the ground. So let's give our AI co-pilot a chance. How are our systems doing? We're good? We're not redlining anything? Alright. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm letting go. Let's see what they do. Like I said before, I have not had good luck with this AI co-pilot. Okay, now service ceiling is 10,000 feet in the sim. And we're going to hit that pretty darn soon. So what's their plan? Now they're staying on the nav. Okay. Huh. Okay. Maybe he's just avoiding a mountain. Or he was avoiding a mountain. What's he doing now? What are you doing, buddy? Are you going down to 9,000? That's what he put autopilot, or are you going down to 7,500 because that's what they put in the flight plan page? Is he going to stop at 9 grand? No. He might be going down to 7,500, but the problem is this terrain is a little bit higher than that. We'll give him a chance here. I can always take it off and pull up super fast. I do know that AI co-pilots are known to hit mountains. What's he doing? What are you doing, buddy? You gonna level off here? You gonna level off? At least he's staying on the nav path. That's surprising, because when I used him before, he's always done 10-degree banks to the left. Okay, I'm giving him a chance to go to 7,500, but that's too low. It's just, it would be nice if, it would be nice if I didn't have to hand fly this whole thing for 3 hours. And he's below 7,500. Okay. We're not doing that because he's just going to run us into the ground. Alrighty, well, I'm going to hand fly and let's get back in control of our aircraft and then we'll turn loose for sightseeing here. Let's just go up like this. How are we doing for mixture? If I bring back mixture a little bit. Bring back mixture, RPMs go way up. Nope, now they went down. So we're going to keep it at the peak. Because I don't see an EGT. If there, oh well, there's right there, EGT. So the way this mixture thing works, I'm going to stop right there. Whoa. The way this mixture thing works is if you don't have variable prop, if you don't have the blue lever, you simply bring back mixture. Once you're above 5,000 feet, you bring back mixture until your RPMs stop going up. If you do have the blue lever, you bring back RPMs until your EGT stops moving. But in the sim, it seems to be a combination of both, and then in real life, you'd be able to feel it as well. Anyway, gorgeous aircraft, super fun and easy to fly short distances. I don't know about 300 miles though. So when I do sightseeing, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be shorter segments. It's not going to be a regular 22 seconds segments of sightseeing. It's going to be like 5 or 10 seconds. Oh, fuel pressure is kind of high, isn't it? My throttles are all screwed up. Okay, because it brought back my fuel and it went way forward. Okay, that was weird. I should have reset my controls, I guess. Very strange. Anyway, shorter sightseeing because of trying to control this thing without autopilot and limited views. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm going to fly for a while. 3 hours worth, I guess. Is there an ETE on here? Elapsed ETE. I don't see it. Oh yeah, 2 hours 4 minutes. 2 hours 3 minutes. Although that's not always right, because when we did a Florida trip, it jumped all over the place. Anyway, looks like we're off this plateau in a minute, and then we're going to have lower altitude all the way to Pullman. And let's do a little bit of sightseeing, so I can make sure I haven't woken anybody up yet. And then I'll tell my Pullman trip, or Pullman story time, and then we'll go back to sightseeing. Okay, I think we got this. I just want to screw around and do crazy fun stuff, but that'll be for another video, because I don't want to screw up and crash and then have to start over 3 hours. Or in this case, whatever time that says. mid-flight update for you here. It's been 1 hour of flight time. I think it's going to go back to 0. Oh, it's going to do 1 hour. That's different. Awesome. Alrighty. 1 hour of flight time. For the most part, I've been able to easily stay on track. Except I just did a sightseeing segment. That's why we're off track. There's been a little bit of turbulence here and there. But otherwise, I have everything trimmed out for the most part. That I'm hanging out around 8,700 feet. But again, I just did a sightseeing segment and I bumped a few things. And now I'm off that. But whatever. It'll find itself again. Since we have 45 minutes left, I guess I believe it. That's going to put us in under 2 hours. I was expecting this to take closer to 3. So I'm really confused why I'm actually ahead of schedule for the first time ever. But I was enjoying looking at these two hilly peaks here. If you look over here, you've got... Well, I hate that menu thing. You got the tall one there, and then the closer one there. Although they're not that close. That was interesting. Our destination is already showing up on the map somehow. This is going... quite smooth and easily. I really want to do some acrobatics. Like I wanted to fly like a big segment of it upside down for you for some sightseeing, but that's not going to happen because we could lose altitude very quickly and crash and have to do it all over again. But anyway, it's like a lot of plateaus here, kind of mountainous plateaus. The elevation of our airport, I looked it up and I already forgot. Is it 2,600 feet, 2,900 feet? I'm going to have to look it up and put... Well, no, I don't need to look it up and put it on the bottom because we'll find out when we land what it is. I just can't remember. But that's okay. I just know it's like around 3,000 feet or so. So we need to come down eventually, but not quite yet. We have to at least clear the terrain here. So it'll be coming down at the last minute type thing. But anyway, destination is sight on the GPS. All those ways away. And you have to just trust me that for the most part I had the airplane flying very smoothly. Until I started doing some sightseeing and speaking about it. But otherwise, we're just going to keep everything the way it is. Engines are fine. Our fuel pressure's been in the red the whole time, but whatever. I guess nothing has exploded yet. So that's your mid-flight update. I'll do my short little Pullman story time when we get closer to the destination. And that way I know everybody's totally asleep. And I won't wake anybody up when I talk. So back to sightseeing, and I'll see you again very soon. Hour and 23 minutes into this thing, and we're getting closer. Basically right over this ridge, which is interesting because it looks like the train is rising on us. But if you look at our map, it's starting to come down. So it must just be the perspective from the airplane, maybe? Not sure. It says we have 22 minutes left, 64.8 nautical miles. We will call for the airport in a minute here, but let's look outside. Actually, let's look out the windows first. Look at how gorgeous this is. Look at that. We are still below some of the terrain, which I love. I love when we fly lower than some of the surrounding terrain. It's one of my favorite things about VFR flying, even though I do it in jets too sometimes when we're coming in for an approach. But when you have entire trips where it's below the train sometimes, I love it so much. What does our co-pilot think? He's fine. One thing I wanted to point out, though, if you look, whoop, not that view, if you look at this view here, you'll see that the canopy is in the unlocked position. And you can't move it. So, very risky flying. Pretty dangerous, I know, but so be it. Alright, we're coming up on 10 grand to clear this terrain. That is the service ceiling published in the sim, but it's much lower than the real life service ceiling. But we don't seem to have any issues at all getting that high, so whatever. We're going to clear this terrain and then start coming for the airport. So let's see. This airport, we used to fly to all the time in X-Plane because it was the only time I purchased payware scenery with my own money. It was on a discount, but it was the only time I ever paid for scenery. I tried my best to avoid paying for scenery because then I'd feel obligated to fly there all the time because I paid for it. But I did pay for this in X-Plane, and that leads into my story time for this airport. I did buy a few other scenery things, but that was like gift money and credits and things, but the only scenery I paid for was Pullman, and that's because my wife went to grad school there right before I met her. Kind of right before I met her. And she had, let's watch what we're doing. And she had lots and lots of fun, many different interpretations of that, lots and lots of fun, which I had a very boring college life. I spent all my Friday and Saturday nights in practice rooms playing piano, which paid off in the short term because I had an amazing full-time professional music gig that paid like more than I make now, and that was like 20 years ago. But I paid the price of being alone like all the time preparing for it. And it's a common thread among professional pianists. I've talked to other ones thinking they had this glorious life. They're like, no, I didn't even talk to people for weeks at a time. I was practicing. But anyway, my wife had all the fun. So I live vicariously through her college stories, I admit it. And she spent a lot of time in Pullman and had tons of fun and has tons of stories, some of which I've shared, some of which I can't share. But I'll make you dig through the Pullman X-Plane videos if you want to hear them. I'm not going to repeat them since a lot of you have seen those videos. So lots of Pullman stories. So I bought the scenery for X-Plane, and at the time it was really good scenery. Now it's totally dated. But I'm excited to see what it looks like in default in this simulator. I'll be able to tell you some differences because I know the airport pretty well. So we'll be able to see what it looks like here. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why I chose this area. Plus I wanted to fly something more interesting than plains areas like we were when we were flying nighttime flights. So I wouldn't run into anything. So I know this area well from the other simulator. It looks different in this simulator, of course. But the reason why I chose this is so I could compare X-Plane to here. So if you want to compare it yourself, just check out the X-Plane videos with Pullman. I'm not going to do a side-by-side comparison or anything, but that's the reason why I have Pullman scenery in the other simulator, which I don't fly anymore anyway. But it was a long time ago I made the purchase, made it worth it. But let's see, what else can I say? Oh yeah, I used to love flying the VOR approach in the 727 because, you know, the 727 X-Plane didn't have our average GPS, so you had to fly the VOR or do visually. But we do the VOR approach, which is really cool because, which I think you can even see here, maybe, yeah, that VOR is right off the runway. So you fly to the VOR and then you have to come down over this hill, nosedive and turn right and land, which isn't a big deal in GA. But if you're doing the 727, it was a challenge because you had to come down at the last second, dogleg to the right, and land. It was awesome. I loved it. But then in more modern aircraft, I flew the GPA approach, which is boring. Although it goes right over the college, which is kind of cool. But today we're going to do VFR, but we're kind of pretty much going to do the VOR approach, more or less. I'm not going to tune it in because you have to come down here and tune it in there, and then the stripe will tell you if you're on or off. But so it can be done. We're just not going to. But I know the VOR is. Anyway, that's kind of the story time, just about the scenery, not really about my wife and her fun adventures, but more about the scenery and stuff. Oh, the prop is frozen again. See that? Now it's free. So we're going to finish the last little bit together here. I'm not going to talk for this full 12 minutes, but we're going to finish this together. So then there's this, okay, so see this valley here? There's a deep, deep valley, and there's a lot of airports here which aren't showing up because I'm not zoomed in enough, but there's 3 or 4 airports on the sandbars along this river at the bottom of the valley, and we flew those too in X-Plane with the Beaver, I think. Well, look, we're over service ceiling and we're operating just fine. We flew those in the Beaver from airport to airport to airport, so that was really cool. Because if you want to come over here, you're really high, but then you got to get down in this valley, and there's not really room to turn around, so you have to kind of come in here, fly the river, so you can descend and land. It was really cool and really challenging and really fun. Maybe we'll do it again in the simulator. I don't know. Otherwise, do I see the airport up there? I think I do, kind of. So let's see if we can call it up. Let's see, what are we doing here? K-Pull. Here's airport list. Do we see it on that page? I wouldn't think so. Let's keep going. There it is, number 7, Pullman, Moscow. Let's see. Traffic. Oh, it's not towered. Okay, we'll do runway 6 because that's straight in. Announce full stop landing and announce position. And there it is. Okay, I guess we'll just have to do it that way. But the Pullman, Moscow. So Pullman is like, it's either 7 or 11 miles from the Idaho border. And that's where Moscow is. So everybody, I guess I'm going to tell more stories. Everybody would go from the college in Pullman over to Moscow because the rules were more lax for certain activities, I guess. And so my wife would go there with her friends after she would go to her bar hopping and crap that I was never into and she's not into either, but her friends were. So she just went, you know, because her friends did. So she did that a lot. And then again, her friends dragged her. She would have just sat in her dorm room and read. She was an English major, master's, PhD, English. But her friends dragged her. So Moscow was a huge place for the college kids. And then they come back to Pullman and whatever. But that's why I mentioned the Moscow thing. And this airport served both areas. So what would happen is the sports teams would fly in and out of this airport. So they actually had like 737s and some pretty big jets. And the sports teams would use this airport to fly around. And the local colleges would come, other colleges would drive a couple hours to get here to use this airport. So it was kind of cool. You would see the college had their own livery and stuff like that. I don't know if they still do now. This was again 20 years ago. But anyway, so yep, lived through my wife's stories. Someday I'll visit here, maybe. I don't know. We visited one of her other old colleges, and it was kind of a drag, right? Because you have a memory of what you remember it being like when you're 18 to 22 years old. And then you go back, and you're like, ew. And we did that for her undergrad. We went back to her college for an event, and then she was touring the town with me, and she's like, this is not exciting. But anyway, so a little bit of story time there, both with the scenery and X-Plane and living through my wife, like usual. I admit it, you know, my life now, 2 kids with certain challenges, wife with certain challenges. I'm the one that glues everybody together, and then I work to pay the bills. But mainly I live to take care of my family. And this is my outlet, and you all know that. None of this is secret. I'm at the Tall Turtle channel here. It's not just about the flying. It's about vlogging and blabbing a lot, but you keep coming back, so thank you. So that terrain was kind of high, I guess. Anyway, this looks amazing. Looks nothing like X-Plane except this trench, which is enormous that I already talked about. So maybe we will fly it again. I don't know. I've been contemplating, do I want to refly the flights I've done in X-Plane that I loved, or do I not want to? And I figured I would just clean the slate, right? Start with a clean slate, and we'll just fly where we want to, how we want to, and not worry about repeating stuff I used to in X-Plane. We're just not going to do it. We're just going to clean slate, do whatever. So there we go. I did talk pretty much those 20 minutes, didn't I? Holy crap. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, I hate when people say that. Right, hour and 38 minutes in. We got a few minutes left. I need to find this airport. It's hard to spot. And X-Plane is easy to see because the scenery would stick out like a sore thumb because I had custom scenery. But I cannot spot this thing from here at all. I know there's hills just beyond it. Maybe that's it, because I know there's hills just beyond it. You got to be careful. And then Moscow's right over here somewhere. So there's the river with airports down there. And it's just awesome, but we're going to start coming down. I mean, what I say the airport is like 3,000 feet or something, just under 3,000 feet, I think. Let me look it up again while I have you. It is 2,500 feet. So we have to come down quite a bit, which in this plane is fine. We could even like do an inverted, like do a looper or something if we wanted to. We're gonna come down 2,500 feet. Let's stay 2,000 above. So let's shoot for 5,500 feet. I'm looking for the town. Is that the town out here? Then that's the hill you nosedive over to land. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. Oh yeah, I forgot the road runs down there too. Can't make out the airports, but they're there. Oh, there's one right there. There's one of them. And looking down the other side. Not sure what that's supposed to be. So many plateaus in this area, it's crazy. Alright, runway is finally in sight. It is, you see the flashing lights right there, right? So what happens is, you get to the VOR like this, and the VOR angle that you're supposed to approach at is more like down here. That's why it's such a sharp turn. But because of the way we approached it, we're going to go right over the town. So there's the town of Pullman right there, unless I get a screenshot of that. That's the town of Pullman. We're going to fly over it. Normally, if we take the published VOR approach, you don't actually fly over it. You're more to the right. You come up along here, and then boom, you turn. Which again, if you're in the 727, like I used to do, because you had to fly Santa Alpha, it was insane, but it was awesome. So there's the town. We're gonna fly right over it. There's another airport there. Where's that other airport? I don't see another airport there. Huh. Whatever. Anyway, we got to come down. Not too much, not too soon. We're below 5,000 feet, so mixture's full, props are full. Are we going to regret the props full? Nope, we're good. And, so that's because we're VFR. Let's just give ourselves a little bit more space. We can go over the town a little bit here. Have our final looks outside. There we go, quickly. Oh yeah, there's the airport, the little grass strip. Quickly. And hop back inside. Look out the window. Let's go like this. That's better. Is that awesome? That's so cool. It looks so real. Because it is real, I guess. So much better than the paper scenery for X-Plane, which I've talked about with people. Like, the default scenery. Like, it kind of blows my mind at this point in time that people are actually buying scenery and stuff for the sim. Because, like, a lot of people are X-Plane converts, right? A lot of us are. And the best payware scenery in X-Plane doesn't come close to the default stuff in the sim. So why would you buy anything? I mean, to each their own, right? It's not, it's not up to me to decide what people spend their money on. Some people think so, but not up to us what other people do with their money. But why though? Why would you spend money when default stuff looks better than the most expensive? Whatever. I don't care. Let's not even worry about that anymore. So coming in, that's what we're worried about, is landing. So let's come in here. See what I'm talking about? The VOR thing. If we came on the actual published approach, you do this final turn over this hill at the last second while you're trying to look at the city. There's a college, obviously, where my wife spent a lot of her time. And I don't believe there are flaps in this thing. Gears fixed, of course. I don't believe there are flaps. I'm pushing the button. Nothing's happening. Alrighty, so it says we're high, but you have to be, because if you came in, you're going to hit these things. So there we are. 1 and 1 on the Vassy. Actually, it's 2 and 2, but careful of our speed. And let's see if I can land this thing. We're going to have a little bit of tailwind, actually, from the left. Okie dokie. Here we go. Let's slow this thing down and just let it bleed out. Long runways, I'm not worried about it. Let's just let it bleed off all of its speed. Come on, bleed. No, don't touch down yet. Don't touch down yet. Just bleed it off. There we go. Oh, this is hard to land. Okay, ground effects. There are the ground effects. And 2 bounces. 3, 4 bounces. 1 bounce I found out is actually acceptable, which I didn't know. 4 bounces, probably not. Maybe it's acceptable in a plane like this. I don't know. There we go. Oh, I forgot to announce we were on final because I was so busy talking. Oops. That's okay. That's okay. Wow, okay, so this airport is... it's close. It's close to what the real one looks like. Actually, it's really close considering it's just the satellite imagery trying to decide what to do. That's not bad, really. I'm not a purist when it comes to airports, so I just enjoy it for what it is. Huh, I'm pretty impressed. Cool. Alrighty, let's see, where are we gonna park this thing? I have to figure that out here. Let's first get off the runway and check our time and all that good stuff. And stop here a second. Hop inside. What's our time say? Hour 48. What? How's that even possible? I was expecting like 3 hours. I mean, the guy, is he waving for us over there? He is. Look at. They're waving for us. That's so funny. Watch, I'll show you. Look, over here. Come over here, he says. You see this? At least I assume that's what that means. That's amazing. That's hilarious. Come over here. It is. Oh my gosh, it's our lightsaber person. Didn't even have to look for him. Oh, that's fun. Straight. Whoop. I know. This is a little sports car of the airplane world here. It's hard to control. Oh, it's our lightsaber woman again. Awesome. Stop. Thank you. Hop inside. Set the parking brake. Props back. Mixture back. And key off, I think. And turn that off. And there. Whoa. I do not want to restart the flight. Hour 53. Alright, let's make sure it counted towards our jack of all plane. It should say 80%. And 80% it is. That means it counted. Awesome. Alright. You know the deal. Like, subscribe, leave a comment so we can play the YouTube algorithm game. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I'll see you next time.